Crossing the Line is not a show intended to bully or harass anyone. Do not go out of your way to mess with the authors who write these fanfics. They make what we do possible. Thanks. Enjoy.
Steven, I got a question for you.
What's that?
What would you do if you were, scrolling through Twitter one day, having your usual, your goof and your gaff, a little chuckle here and there, over some tweets, and then you scroll by something you didn't expect to see that day. You see a bunch of retweets from a post by Ken Penders himself saying he's got an update for his comic and he's released a new character art for his latest character in the series, Moody the Rabbit.
So the comic artist who does Sonic would have stolen his OC?
Oh god.
For his own nefarious purposes, yes.
Knowing how he designs characters, I'd be fucking furious.
It's exactly how it looks in your head.
Ah, no! Elias, have you seen Ken Bender's style?
I have, I think. If it's like...
I'll friggin' look it up for you.
I know it's not the same as the official Sonic Archie comics. It's like really elongated, right?
Yeah, Ken Penders was essentially an artist who worked for the Archie Sonic comics, but at some point he decided he wanted to copyright the characters he created for the comics, even though under that contract every character he made belonged to Sega and Archie.
So what happened?
What happened was he took them to court, and for whatever reason, Sega and Archie could not come up with the contract that he signed, so he got away with it, and they ended up having to basically soft reboot the Archie comics and delete all the characters he made, redesign a number of the characters that were like main cast. And that was like towards the end of the Archie comics where they moved to friggin' IDW.
That's rough.
Yeah, it was absolute dog shit, and yeah, he's got quite a head on him, and he created a lot of the Echidna characters.
Pretty much everyone who's not Knuckles.
Pretty much.
So what happened there? It's like a whole race.
Yeah, so
Knuckles went back to being the sole survivor.
he went back. Yeah, he went back to be like the only Echidna tribe member that we know of, because he also made the fucking Nocturnus clan and Shade the Echidna from Sonic Chronicles Lost Brotherhood on DS. So they can't use Shade the Echidna or any of those now. That's why there hasn't been a new Sonic Chronicles.
Yeah, I could see why he'd be furious. He's a master of deception.
He's a fucking fuckhead, but he, even worse, he took the fucking Echidna characters and he's trying to make them into his own Alien comic series, and this is like some of the art that he's done for him.
Okay, yeah, that's exactly what I remembered.
But now just picture Moody running in behind them.
If I can't picture Moody in this style, he'd give her two eyes.
For the sake of this hypothetical, you have to.
I don't understand why he chose to draw them that way if he owns the characters. Why doesn't he just draw them like how they were before?
This is obviously how they should have looked the whole time.
Oh, okay. Now I understand.
It's because if he draws them
I hate that one.
With the military guy?
Yeah. Ugh.
Wait. Who's that in the top right? What the?
Mike Tyson? I don't know.
No, it's like the guy from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the Falcon.
The point is it's a real black man mixed with all these horrible Echidna characters.
Yeah.
How did you find this image so the listeners can find this?
Look up Ken Penders and then go on Google Images.
That's all it takes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's the group shot of all the characters.
This motherfucker.
Oh, yeah. I know that guy.
Oh, God, you can see his characters behind him.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, he's just claimed that Moody the Rabbit is joining the crew, and she's ready to fight other hostile aliens or whatever they do in his comic.
Mm-hmm.
What do you reply? Do you quote retweet with some sass?
I do. I fucking cancel his ass.
What do you say?
I retweet and I fucking go, this motherfucker took my design, and then I fucking
use the Wayback Machine, take one of his tweets out of context, and cancel him publicly.
Well, I was gonna get the link from when I first posted Moody's friggin' model sheet like years ago, but that works too.
In the fact that she's been your icon forever.
Exactly.
Will that hold up in court against Ken Penders?
He's got the receipts.
I have the receipts. I have everything.
He's gonna say, no, that character that guy made is some chump change, secondary, stealing my idea, my IP no less.
He's gonna show a generic drawing of a rabbit with no identifying features and say, see, this was my original idea for Moody the Rabbit. This guy obviously just took the fucking design.
The worst part is he wouldn't even get her the gimmick with her shirts.
He wouldn't get the gimmick with her fucking pool ball shirts. He'd give her 2 eyes and it would make me really mad.
He would never draw her pussy.
That's true, and he'd get mad about it too.
He'd say, stop drawing my character's pussy! And you'd say, stop drawing my character's pussy.
Yeah.
And he'd say, what?
he gives it, but he can't take it at all.
Of course.
Immediately before we came in here, you made me watch a full Insane Clown Posse music video.
Yeah. What about it?
Why did we watch that?
I just wanted to hear the song.
Okay. I liked how you said there's a radio edit that plays pretty frequently that censors the chorus.
Yeah, so if you don't like it, you can off.
Yeah, the song says, you don't like it, you can fuck off. So it's just, you don't like it, you can off. I love radio edits. They
East
suck.
side, west side.
Yeah. Elias, what would you do if you turned on the radio one day and you heard a full album, like 50 minutes, and they were all covers of all your favorite songs by Blaze, the movie fan?
I thought you were going to say like Kids Bop or something.
That would have no
Close
inflection to it. It would just be like spoken word. It'd be like sometimes you turn on the college radio station and it's just like some guy just like, and he just like rambling about some shit you don't care about, but it's like 2 a.m, so you're like, this is fine, this'll do. But it's just Blaze the movie fan doing that about song lyrics, and I can't possibly comprehend what he's trying to do, so I listen to the entire thing and awe.
Feel good.
It's a good thing you don't. It's a good thing you don't live out of town anymore, Steven, or else you'd have to make a Blaze the Movie Fan CD to listen to on your drives.
That's true, and it'd get scratched frame 1, and I'd have to hear him fucking YouTube poop himself over and over again.
Your poor life where you had to drive 6 hours to come visit us at any time, and then 6 hours back home, and you were so starved for internet comment you would burn CDs of Markiplier and Nostalgia Craig videos.
It's fucking true. Those drives were so fucking long, and my CD player always fucking eventually scratches discs and shit, so I would, like, be driving, and all of a sudden Markiplier would scream the same scream 5 times in a fucking row, and YouTube poop himself repeatedly.
There's the bright side of
The
that.
dark times of like 2018 when you didn't have a smartphone, let alone any sort of like connection to your CD player, so all you could play was CDs.
I missed my chance to buy you a bunch of comedy CDs, like all the Shel Silverstein CDs.
It's true, now he'll never listen to them.
My name is Sue. How do you do? Now you're going to die.
Welcome to Crossing the Line, a fanfiction podcast where we read, review, and critique fanfiction for your listening pleasure. I'm George G. Poole, sitting on the left side of the microphone this time. And as always, we've got our 2 co-hosts, Elias Viva Vlogs.
Hello.
And Steven Blue Breed.
Welcome to Binaural Beats with Blue Breed.
Blue Breed, what are we reading today, huh, Mr. Binaural Beats? Why'd you say that?
Today, because you said you were on the left side of the microphone, so I got thinking of
Oh.
binaural shit. Today we're reading about the Rugrats and or All Grown Up.
Yay!
Huzzah!
You should have learned that on one of your many comedy instruments.
Oh god, that's the first thing that my friend played on it when he gave it to me as a gift.
Good. Okay.
I'll play it.
Everybody grab an instrument.
Oh, this one's dead.
Oh.
Just give me a couple minutes to look up the notes.
It's okay. I would like to talk about... George immediately starts scowling. I'd like to talk about my retrospective on the Rugrats. It's about 5 babies.
Blaze the movie fan has no like tropes besides his own voice and his intro.
Hey guys.
Hey guys! And then he talks in a completely quiet monotone voice.
It was a bad decision to introduce Steven to Blaze the movie fan.
You didn't introduce me to him, you just showed me he was still uploading. You got me down the rabbit hole. I knew the fucking Mario pissing man, I just didn't know his name.
This was the quickest we've gone off of our own topic.
Well, we've read a lot of Rugrats and All Grown Up, specifically fan fiction, over the last few years, but we've never actually just done an episode on it.
It's true. It's a very funny IP to imagine people doing crossovers with.
True. So what's everyone's favorite baby?
Probably Tommy.
Mm.
I don't really like the other ones. I don't really like Tommy that much either, but he's the most just like competent.
Right.
Phil and Lil are annoying. Chucky's trope got boring fast. Angelica's a bitch. I don't remember enough about Kooky.
Oh, Kiki.
Kiki. I don't remember enough about her character.
Kimmy. That's right.
I don't remember enough about her character to say anything plus or minus about her.
Hmm.
Who's your favorite baby?
Oh, let's see. I like Chucky pretty okay. He's fun. Very neurotic.
He came up with a full head of sharp hair.
I know, right? I like this dad calls him a French fry with ketchup on top. That's funny.
Fucking foul.
It's a funny ass name. It sounds like something a dad would say.
Maybe your dad.
Okay, let's see if I can play this on my first try.
Almost.
Almost.
You went up when you should have gone down.
I had to guess.
I felt it.
I never realized how
That's all you
simple
get.
the song was, but it's just up, down, 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 down.
It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 3, 5, 3, 2, or something.
Okay, it does go up one and then back down.
So- I guess we should talk about our experience with the new fucking reboot.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we did that last
I
time.
don't remember how much we talked about it last time, but Steven, you can go in on it since you haven't watched anything since.
Alright.
Now that you've marinated on the themes.
Alright, so, the babies are fine. They're, like, exactly the way they were for the most part. There isn't much to say about them. They got rid of Kimmy and Chucky's adopted mom for some reason, which is weird.
Well, I think that one is just because they wanted to like reboot the series, and if they introduce Kimmy, because Dill's not in there either.
Oh yeah, what the
so
hell?
it's just like it's like a reboot of season 1 Rugrats.
Wow, that's weird.
Yeah, you didn't even notice fuckhead Dill wasn't there.
Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, damn.
His head is shaped the worst.
Of course.
Tommy was gonna fucking feed him to chimps.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
Well, Dill's like younger somehow, so he's got to be introduced later.
He's a newborn.
Mm-hmm.
He is birthed in the movie.
He's like an actual womb. His
Don't
head
they-
is still forming.
Don't they have like actual episodes that lead up with Dee Dee gets pregnant, so there's some sort of continuity in the series?
Not
Oh.
the movie.
Oh, I thought there was like some episodes where she was pregnant and then the movie happened.
Mm-hmm.
Then the second movie happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Wild Thornberries movie happened.
9 months happen in a flash, and Tommy gets no older.
Mm-hmm.
The adults are really where the fucking reboot pissed me off. We'll start with the like easy one.
The Thanosing of Howie.
The Thanos thing of Howard. Fucking Phil and Lil's parents. Howard and Betty. She's a lot less bombastic and interesting than she was. Like, they sucked the energy out of her. She was a lot quieter and, like, subdued than she used to be. And I also...
She's also a mother of twins, being a single lesbian mother.
Yeah, like, it's one of those things where, like, they were never opposed to introducing new characters to the Rugrats before, so I'm shocked that wasn't, like, their first introduce a new family or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I don't get why that had to happen, but regardless, that, and then fucking what they did to Lou Pickles'
The
grandpa.
neutering of Lou Pickles.
Lou Pickles is not Lou Pickles in the reboot. Lou Pickles is the most milquetoast, fucking stereotypical fucking executive ass born piece of shit.
He's literally the best character in the original series.
He's one of the fucking most entertaining. The adults were some of the best parts of the original, and they basically neutered most of them.
Yeah, that's it. It feels like an adult can't really enjoy the show anymore. It feels like it's made just for kids, whereas the original Rugrats has like obviously the kid side of things, but there's still like with the adults that kids would just be like, no, whatever, but the parents watching would get something out of. But it feels like you can't do that with this series. The parents just don't matter.
Exactly. Like, I remember loving, like, Stu and his brother bickering and shit, and, like, having adult fucking conversations about tax deductions and shit, and, like, never understanding that, and then coming back now and realizing how fucking hilarious it is. What a fucking incompetent dipshit Stu turned out to be.
My experience with Rugrats is playing the video game Rugrats in Paris on PS1 a lot, and I think it was on PS1. Anyways, yeah, I played that a lot and watched the movie in theaters and the Wild Thornberrys crossover movie in theaters, and then had some VHS tapes that I would watch over and over again also as a child of some early seasons, and that's it.
How does the video game compare to the reboot?
I liked it a lot as a kid, and now I do not like it as much, and so I guess it's about the same.
Fair enough.
If I was a child watching I don't know, actually I really thought CGI was really creepy as a kid. I did not like it. Coraline scared me a lot, and so did some other claymation type stuff, and like CGI that was not very good, and so I think I would have actually been afraid of the new one.
Fair enough.
My biggest Rugrats memory as a child was I had a Rugrats the movie soundtrack CD that doubled as like a PC game with a bunch of really like bare bones Flash level games, but I remember playing that so much on my grandma's computer.
Yeah.
Along with a Mobile Suit Gundam strategy game on Toonami's website.
Hell yeah.
And Elf Bowling.
Yo.
I had a disc of Stuart Little on PC, and I was like begging my grandma to buy it for me. I was like, Grandma, look, they have Stuart Little on PC. You gotta buy it for me. It's on Mac, and I have a Mac. And she's like, okay. And it was just like a bad platformer.
I played 625 Sandwich Stacker on Disney's website.
That's pretty fun.
That was a great game. Well, let's see here. If you guys want, I can get us started.
Okay.
With the funny Rugrats.
Yeah, read your big Rugrat.
Read your big rug, you rat. Ow! Tommy cried. Angelica, you injected me with nail plasma.
Nail or snail?
Nail. Quit worrying, you dumb baby, Angelica snapped, removing the shell-shaped syringe from her baby cousin's nose. It's no big deal. Earlier that day, 3-year-old Angelica Pickles found a shell in the sandbox at the park, and it looks strangely similar to the syringe of snail plasma featured on an episode of SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh no. It's just an actual syringe she found on the ground and plucked the baby with.
Dirty fucking needle. Later, Angelica came to visit her cousin Tommy Pickles, her aunt Dee Dee, and her uncle Stu at their house. Angelica always had a penchant for teasing her baby friends, and she remembered the infamous episode of SpongeBob, so she came up with a fun new idea for playing with Tommy. Once alone with him in the living room, Angelica showed Tommy her shell, and then told him all about snail plasma, and that beings injected with it would turn into snails. Unnerved by this idea, Tommy started shivering and trying to crawl away from Angelica, who threateningly approached him with a wicked grin on her face and the syringe in her hand.
Threateningly approached him with her ability to walk.
Ultimately, Angelica was too fast for Tommy, as she playfully jabbed the syringe into his nose and pushed down on the plunger.
Playfully.
Injecting Tommy with whatever liquid that had been slushing around inside. Now, although Angelica told him not to worry, Tommy was panicking. He was shaking uncontrollably, and tears were welling up in his eyes. The thought of being reduced to a mere snail was horrifying. Angelica, you said the nail
plasma turns you into a nail, Tommy stammered. Again, misarticulating the word snail. Tommy's eyelids then drooped and he slumped forward. I feel kind of woozy now, he slurred. You dumb baby! I just made all that up! There's no such thing as snail plasma!
You're just injected with something.
You're injected with fake snail plasma.
She's trying to smooth out his soft spots.
Injected him fucking Kool-Aid.
She had the same amount of blood in that syringe as he has in his whole body. She gave her a transfusion.
Angelica shouted, "That was just from a dumb cartoon!" But before Angelica or Tommy could say anything else, something terrifying happened. Tommy started shaking even faster, almost as if he were having a seizure.
Dee!
Almost as if he's having a seizure.
And while Angelica laughs.
Tommy's gonna fucking die. His mom's gonna be looking up in a Lipschitz book what to do if your kid has a fucking seizure. Let's see here. His eyes suddenly popped upward out of his head and were supported by eye stalks that had grown out of his eye sockets. Tommy then fell belly down on the floor. His arms and legs rapidly contracted and disappeared into his body. Tommy's body then contracted into a squiggly shape, causing him a massive amount of pain. His eyes clenched shut, and he wailed, "Ah! Ah! I want my mom!"
Angelica must be terrified.
Yeah.
She's laughing. She's drinking her chocolate milk. Sitting on the couch, legs spread, mansplaining.
Stupid baby.
Stupid baby.
By this point, Tommy had finished transforming into a snail. Although he wasn't quite a true snail, he looked like a weird hybrid of a human and a snail. Seeing as now he still retained some human features, he had no arms and legs, and had alien-like eyes that stuck out of the human-like head. The sight was incredibly nightmarish, and Angelica, who had watched the transformation unfold before her, was now staring agape, her eyes open in pure shock at Tommy the snail. She couldn't believe that this was real. Angelica had never expected something so dramatic like this to happen. It was all just a joke. Now, it was no joke. Her formerly human cousin was a mere snail.
A mere snail.
Angelica felt panicky and insecure inside. Such a transformation seemed unearthly and impossible, but if such a bizarre thing could happen to Tommy, then it could happen to even her parents. Angelica started trembling at the thought of her caretakers dramatically shrinking in size and turning into very different creatures, rendered unable to speak normally or able to act or think like normal grown-up humans.
She's like, Tommy's dead, but my parents...
rendered almost like mere inanimate objects. If something dramatic like this could happen, then anything could happen, leaving Angelica feeling completely vulnerable and frightened. She felt like the time she feared she could get sucked down the bathtub drain. Despite the terrifying transformation, Tommy no longer seemed upset. Angelica grimaced and cringed as Tommy stared at her with his alien-like eyes. That's not very keck of you, Pickles.
Tommy, you're cringe.
Tommy
steps on
foaming
him.
at the mouth, dying.
Tommy's always a go-getter.
She's gonna put salt on him.
She's like, Dee Dee, Tommy's being cringe. Now, Jessica.
Aw, Dee Dee.
He was quiet at first, but then happily chirped, "Meow." Now that the full realization that Tommy had actually turned into a snail sunk in, Angelica dropped the syringe and she screamed her head off, so loudly that it could be heard outside the house. As Angelica continued screaming, the sound of hurried footsteps drew closer and closer to the living room. At last, Dee Dee, rushing into the living room, a concerned look on her face. "Angelica, are you okay? What's wrong?" Dee Dee asked worriedly. She then glanced at Tommy. and saw that her 1-year-old son was now a snail and shrieked her head off. Ah, Tommy! My Tommy's a snail! How is this possible? And
What a sentence.
My Tommy's a snail.
My 1-year-old son is a snail.
Yuck!
Ew. You're right, that is cringe. Dee Dee picked up her son and stared at him in shock.
One-handed or two-handed, you think?
Picked him up.
Forefinger and thumb. Whoa.
Holding him by his shell.
By the end of his tail.
Ew.
Oh, that's disgusting.
By one of his eyes.
It's like that video with the guy hatching the homunculus, and then he immediately gets terrified, so he smashes it with a book.
Oh, God.
He created life to only to immediately destroy it. He put cum inside with egg.
Oh, God. Angelica, with tears in her eyes, stared at the floor and shuffled her feet. Well,
what did you do?
Angelica, did you hold Tommy down and slowly inject snail plasma?
Did you give Tommy the snail potion?
Did you inject it into his nose and then hold him down and do it again and say, ha ha, it's not real?
Yes.
Angelica, are
But
you pranking me?
Dee, he wouldn't give me his cookie. Now, no fussing around.
I'm going to have to put down my son now. I'll make another one.
Stew. Already on it.
I've got the solid deer.
He has to make a fucking rat trap for snails in his toy basement.
Oh,
This
God.
would be the perfect toy.
Oh.
The final toy. The final hazard, if you will.
Oh,
What
God.
if Stu made the final hazard? What do you think?
They made the fucking bio-lizard.
Not
Stu
just the
caused-
bio-lizard. The bio-lizard chemically inbound with the space colony arc.
What if Stu created the Evangelion Third Impact in his basement and destroyed the world?
What if Stu was chained up in that chair instead of Gerald Robotnik?
At this point, my revenge will be complete.
A scary JPEG.
You will all...
Stu with his head down, chained up.
We should make a Rugrats video game mod. That'd be so funny.
That would be great.
Do you want to start learning how to texture?
I know how to mod games. It's easy. You just steal everything and change the textures.
Rugrats Adventure 2. At last.
Who would be the antithesis to Tommy? Who would be the
Angelica.
shadow? Would you be?
Huh?
You want to see Tommy's model waddling that fast? Then he
Tommy in VR chat would be so good. He's so small.
There was like a PS2 Rugrats game, so there do exist true
Ooh.
3D Rugrats models.
What was the game?
It was God, what was it called? Rugrats Royal Ransom,
Oh, I know what that is.
implying there's royalty and the babies are being held captive for money.
You still gotta play the Rocket Power game where the bandits steal all the sand on the beach.
We didn't play that?
Yeah.
I know we played the PlayStation 1 game, but I guess we have to play that one even though that one looks even shittier.
Hell yeah.
You're like fighting fucking robots just because SpongeBob did that with their PS2 game.
Right.
You do have the Tito model, Steven.
I do. I did make him dance. The funny McSamo shuffle.
Okay, let's go to Stu now.
Yeah, here's your homework, listeners. Go to Models Resources, download your favorite character model, and then upload it into Mixamo, and then make them default dance, and then send us GIFs. Post your GIFs on the Twitter comments of this episode. Thank you.
Well, Aunt Dee Dee, I kind of ejected Tommy with snail plasma. You did what? Cried Dee Dee. You are in big trouble, young lady. But first, we've got to take Tommy to the doctor to see if I can him turn back into a human. Just then, Stu ran into the room.
Oh no.
What's going on? He asked.
Ran in.
Runs in and just deadpan. What's going on?
He then saw Tommy the snail and screamed his head off. What is that thing? He cried in horror. That thing is your son, Tommy, Dee Dee explained irritably. I ejected Tommy with plasma, wailed Angelica, who was now sobbing on the floor. I'm so sorry. Yes, Dee Dee said.
You're only sorry because you're going to get punished.
Yeah, that is her gimmick.
How would you like to be injected with snail plasma? Stu, get the plasma.
All right, dear.
Give her a double dose.
It'll be funny.
What did we tell her mother?
Same thing she told us.
She injected Tommy and herself with snail plasma.
And she's so sorry.
That she's willing to pay the price.
What if they ask why we didn't stop her? We'll tell them that she threatened to inject us with snail plasma.
It says here that Lipshit says revenge is a dish best served cold, Stu.
Dr. Lipschitz.
Yes, Dee Dee said. Apparently, Angelica injected him with some so-called snail plasma.
Where did she get it?
Remember, she found the syringe on the ground?
It was just on the ground.
Yeah.
She was gonna say, oh no.
My snail plasma.
My invention.
I needed that.
My toy.
His toy.
I was gonna sell that to kids. For profit.
How am I gonna get away from my troubles now if I cannot escape into the fantasy land of a snail?
That was my one ticket out of here. Oh, she ruined it!
His one ticket. What a terrible plan, eh?
My one boat out of the sea of misery that I've gotten myself drowned.
In case he ever wants to vanish, he's just gonna snail plasma himself and then just slink into a wall for a little while.
Just his official plan B, get the fuck out of there. Be a snail.
Who let you have my snail plasma, Angelica? Answer me. Answer me.
You're going to pay dearly for this, Angelica.
He raises one eyebrow suspiciously.
Do you have any idea how many snails I had to squeeze to get that much plasma? I had to invent a snail squeezer, Angelica. I'm going to have to squeeze my son, Angelica.
I'm going to have to squeeze you now.
Fucking Simpsonser.
He puts her in the snail squeezer.
That head would break instantly.
It's just a fucking nutcracker that just winds up.
He turns her into a fathead marketable object to put on children's wall.
No, it's one of those things you put on your fucking toothpaste thing to make sure all the toothpaste goes to the top.
He runs Angelica through the pasta maker and then glues one side of her and slaps her against the wall.
He gives her to Ed, who spits on her with chunky puffs and sticks her to his wall.
Oh, God.
And he says, "Thanks for doing that, Ed.
I can always count on you.
Whenever I need to escape." You got it! Okay, that's enough.
Oh dear, Stu said. He then looked over Tommy, taking note of all his strange new characteristics. Come now, Stu, we've got to take Tommy to the emergency room, Dee Dee said, starting to run off to get her purse.
Are you kidding me? The emergency room will tax you to hell and back.
I'll take care of this.
Hold that thought.
We'll go into the normal entrance.
Now, hold on a minute, Deed. We don't need to take Tommy to the emergency room. We can't afford some radical, expensive treatment when we don't have insurance. I'm an inventor. I'll cure Tommy all by myself, Stu said, grabbing Tommy away from Dee Dee. Angelica stopped sobbing, rubbed her eyes and sniffled. You will? Angelica asked, smiling a little. Stu, you can't be serious, started Dee Dee. Trust me, Dee, Stu said.
As his snail son, squirms around his hand.
Trust me, I'm an expert.
I've seen a lot of snails in my day.
Stu, where do you get off making a claim like that?
And he just slams the basement door. Hear it audibly lock.
Stu is so funny. Why?
Stu is
It's just because he's such like he's like a bland chap with the strongest voice known to man.
He's just this fucking man child, but he sounds like such a fucking chill dude.
I'm an inventor, dudes.
I like to imagine him running into the room and stopping like a PS2 character that like runs in and then just stands there to deliver his line.
He has like an idle animation that just bobs back and forth.
Yep.
Trust me, dude, Stu said, smiling and cradling his son. I'll get our son turned back into human in no time, and without the expensive price tag.
Turned back into human.
Without the price tag.
I would never trust a man with that grammar to do science.
My grammar is perfectly okay, dudes.
My grammar good. Leave me be.
Leave away, dude. And he then picked up the syringe of snail plasma and walked off, carrying Tommy into the basement.
What a line. Again.
Carrying Tommy.
On one hand the syringe, the other hand clutching Tommy by the tail.
Dee Dee raised her finger and started to say something, but Stu locked the door behind him. Dee Dee then glared at Angelica, who grinned sheepishly. Later that day, Stu raced upstairs and unlocked the basement door. He met Dee Dee and Angelica, who were sitting on the couch in the living room and were grinning ear to ear. Okay, gang, it's ready, Stu announced.
It's ready. Oh no. It?
I want you to come down and see it for yourselves.
I'm so scared.
With that, Dee Dee and Angelica went with Stu down to the basement and looked in shock at the strange setup that Stu had made. Stu had Tommy's snail body restrained to an old mattress, and attached to the tip of his nose was an enormous Eiffel Tower-shaped syringe with all sorts of rubber tubes, electrical wires, buttons, levers, knobs, and lights attached to it. The device also had many pumps attached to it, and the tubes from the device led to a clear plastic tank with its own pumps, wires, buttons, levers, knobs, and lights.
He's gonna make them watch him perform the procedure.
Yes, Angelica needs to witness this.
The Eiffel Tower-shaped device was about 5 feet long and was so enormous and heavy that Stu had it suspended by chains attached to the basement ceiling.
Why does Stu have chains in the basement?
They just hear chains rattling down there while he's supposedly fixing Tommy. God damn it!
Stu's in his fucking Professor Insano outfit.
Covered in grease.
Stu's got like a freaking chamber down there. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a toy.
I make children's toys.
It's merely a plaything, dude. Stu, what is that giant contraption doing on our baby's nose? Demanded Dee Dee. Don't worry, dude. This is the Snail Plasma Ejector 3000, inspired by Angelica's misarticulation of inject. Simply yank up on the plunger to extract substances, and push down on the plunger to inject substances. Currently, I have the Ejector 3000 adjusted so it can simultaneously extract and inject.
Why?
Anyway,
That's so weird.
Does he have to get baby DNA back in there?
I guess, oh my god. Anyway, the Ejector 3000 will extract every last yoctoliter of snail plasma in Tommy's body. Then he'll turn into a human again almost instantly, Stu said with an enthusiastic grin.
I like him explaining it, and then they don't say anything, and he says, anyway. As I was saying.
They're just looking in awe at this madman holding a snail tied to a mattress.
Why did he have a mattress down there? Why did he have chains and a giant syringe?
For those long nights where he can't get away from work.
True.
Long nights when he can't get away from his wife.
The Ejector 3000. I sure better hope so, Dee Dee said, crossing her arms. Now, watch this, Stu said, climbing a stepladder and yanking up a foot-long plunger attached to the 5-foot ejector 3000 attached to Tommy's little nose.
Yuck.
As Stu climbed down the ladder, the ejector 3000 started puffing like a steam engine, and both the ejector and the tank's lights flashed. The pumps all contracted and expanded rapidly, and liquid slushed rapidly both backwards and forwards to the tubes. While Angelica watched the machine in awe, Dee Dee only focused her attention on Tommy. Look at all that snail plasma, Aunt Dee Dee, Angelica said excitedly, tugging on Dee Dee's dress. And
How much
to
did
the
you
tank.
inject in him, Angelica?
Stu said, well, I had to put more in him to balance it out.
Dee Dee turned her head and gasped when she saw that the tank appeared to be full of a few gallons of some type of liquid.
He's...
Yeah, isn't he snail-sized?
I have no idea.
I thought he was shrunken down to, like, fit in your hand. How are there several gallons?
I'm assuming it's like in the SpongeBob episode where he's like the same size, he's just twisted into a snail.
Still a lot of
I
liquid
thought they
for a
said he
baby.
shrunk down.
Mm.
Maybe they just meant shrunk down, like,
Well, he's...
slouched. He got bad posture. That's all that happened.
I mean, his limbs went inside him and he's a baby, so he's pretty small.
Yeah, and his eyes did pop out of his head.
True.
That'd be fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
You walk in and see your baby with their eyes standing up on their eye stems.
Their fucking legs and lower body twisted into a spiral.
Lou just mechanically walks over. Not Lou.
Walks over, stops, turns without any animation. What's going on here? Anyway.
Angelica, surely you didn't inject all of that plasma into Tommy, did you? No, I don't think so, Aunt Dee Dee, Angelica said meekly. Angelica and Dee Dee both looked at Stu, who shrugged. Maybe it...
Listen, I'm just here to eject the snail plasma.
I don't know, man.
This isn't about me, this is about you. Maybe it multiplies like bacteria. Finally, after a few minutes, the machine stopped slushing and puffing, the lights went off, and the plunger retracted back into the ejector 3000. Okay, gang, in just a few seconds, Tommy should turn right back into a human, Stu said enthusiastically, unrestraining Tommy from the mattress and gently removing the tip of the ejector from his nose.
This would be traumatizing for him if he wasn't a baby.
Oh god, absolutely.
Having your dad put a big thing in your nose and have it suck gallons of unknown substance out
I
of you.
imagine it's just like jabbing him in the face. It's 5 feet long and the tip of it's in his nose. If it's like huffing and puffing, it's like swooshing around in his face, banging his nose against the wall on the mattress.
That's why he had to be restrained.
Stu watched Tommy, grinning excitedly, while Dee Dee stared in uncertainty, and while Angelica's eyes bulged in curiosity. Tommy's body started to shake. Dee Dee squealed and covered her eyes, while Stu kept grinning and exclaimed, "Here it comes." However, instead of Tommy the snail turning back into a human, his body rapidly became fatter and more cylindrical. Stu, Dee Dee, and Angelica shrieked as Tommy's snail eyes, eye stalks, nose, ears, and mouth were absorbed by his fat, cylindrical body, and as his skin became dark red in color. Before they knew it, the transformation was complete, and Tommy, or what was left of him, lay motionless on the mattress. Angelica ran upstairs, sobbing hysterically.
It became a red cylinder.
Yeah? And Dee Dee shrieked, "Stu! What did you do to our son?" Sweat poured down Stu's face.
He's in so much trouble.
Fuck off.
Oh no. And his face was panic-stricken. I don't know what happened, Deed. It should have worked.
Should have worked.
I spent all day building that snail extractor.
I don't know, it should have worked.
What a waste of
The doctors couldn't have done any better.
What makes you think an expensive trick to the doctor could fix this?
I did what I could.
You can't prove that, dude.
We did what we could, and that's all we can do.
I'll make you a new one.
None of your inventions have ever worked, Stu!
No.
Dee Dee screamed. What did you think was gonna happen? Stu shrugged and grinned sheepishly. A miracle. Dee Dee continued to stare.
I never knew Stu to be a religious man. A miracle. He just says it with a glazed expression as Dee's shaking him.
It says just a cylinder.
He's like a fucking carrot or something. Some blood red body horror.
Oh, God. Stu then looked at the Ejector 3000 and saw what he thought was the problem. Wait, dude, I know what happened. Dee Dee crossed her arms, continuing to glare.
Yeah, me too, Stu! You killed your only son, Stu!
Dee crossed her arms like it was so like fucking passive aggressive, like, oh, you know what went wrong when you killed our son.
What are you gonna do?
Stu.
She gives him a look like he just fucking put on the game when she asked him not to.
Kid is in God knows what pain right now.
It's the end of Ava. The end of Tommy.
Oh, God. Stu looked at the floor and said, Well, I designed this machine to not only extract snail plasma, but to inject another substance, like human plasma. Only, I didn't fill the proper reservoir with human plasma. Then what plasma did you fill it with?
Where are you getting all this plasma, Stu?
You know.
The plasma store.
Demanded Dee Dee. Stu stared at the floor, refusing to make eye contact with Dee Dee.
He scratched the back of his head. You see.
He remained silent for a few seconds before saying, Baloney DNA.
Oh. A baloney stick.
Baloney DNA!
That's pig!
So you turned our son into baloney? Our son went from a human to a snail to baloney! Our son is now just a piece of deli meat!
I'm sure he can extract the baloney plasma.
Hey, don't blame me. There was only one place where I could get human plasma on short notice. Some guy who calls himself Zim. Stu explained. Of course, I heard...
There's the crossover.
Yeah. Of course, I heard that he once had a mishap where he turned him and his friend into baloney. But maybe he might have swapped the human plasma with baloney DNA, Stu said hesitantly. That does it! Screamed Dee Dee. Immediately, she ran upstairs and snagged Angelica, who screamed and cried by her own sudden act, and took her back downstairs. Dee Dee then jabbed the Ejector 3000 through both Stu and Angelica's noses at the same time, with both of them grunting in pain. Dee Dee then climbed the ladder and shoved down the plunger of the ejector. All the gallons of snail plasma that had been extracted from Tommy were now rapidly injected into both Stu and Angelica.
She's lost it.
After the Ejector 3000 finished its work, within seconds, both Stu and Angelica shrank in size and became snails. Ah! Stu suddenly screamed. He jerked his head left and right and realized it was now night and he was sweating profusely in his bed. What's the matter, Stu? Dee Dee asked, turning over and gently rubbing his shoulders. You don't want to know, Deed, panted Stu. He then heaved a sigh of relief and glanced at the bedroom TV. I'll just say that's the last time I watched SpongeBob and Invader Zim before going to bed. Okay, honey, you just try to relax and get some sleep. You've been working all month on that new kids' toy set you've been so proud of. You need your rest. After all, you've got a big day tomorrow. You're finally going to market that snail plasma toy, Dee Dee said as she turned over in bed again. And with that, Stu let out a blood-curdling scream, leaving Dee Dee confused as to why Stu reacted so strangely. The end.
That one was a fucking trip.
That was good. That was better than I thought it would be. I read ahead to make sure it wasn't just the fucking episode.
That's good. Oh jeez. I rate that story an unspecified gallons of snail plasma out of 10.
I read that story a out-of-work divorced Stu working at the local Cinnabon.
I rate that a very, very neglectful father out of 10.
God. Absolutely incredible. Do you want to go next?
Sure, did you want to read the other one last?
Yeah.
Okay.
Long day.
Mm-hmm. Let me choose my shorter story.
Epic.
My shorter story.
Epic.
Hello, guys. I'm going to read.
Hello, guys. It is me, Tommy Pickles. That's it.
No, I'm just going to read this other one. I won't read all of it, but it's good.
I will not do any more Blaze the Movie fan impressions for the rest of the show.
Same.
Someone in their Discord sent the podcast clip of the guy who doesn't know how to poop properly. The guy who poops in his hands and drops it in the bowl.
Oh, God.
He says, why do you wash your hands after?
Ugh.
Have you seen that, Steven?
It was on
I
the...
think I have.
Yeah.
The guy, thinks... Oh, just, grew up thinking you're supposed to catch your poop and then drop it in the little bowl.
He sounds super familiar.
He's on a podcast. He looks like a boxer or something, but he's frantically trying to explain it. He's like, but why would I... But if... and the people are like, you don't actually think that, do you? And he's like, but no. Clearly really uncomfortable. It's very good.
That's so funny, Jesus Christ.
Okay, I'll begin my story. At the Sampson household, Eddie was watching a cooking show, copying the recipe. Now, add 2 tablespoons of barbecue sauce. Oh, that's the woman on TV. Now add 2 tablespoons of barbecue sauce, the woman on TV instructed. Eddie watched that and soon did like the woman on TV said. This is going to be my best recipe yet. He then smiled. I never thought I'd see the day Eddie do something besides scamming others, Mike commented as she watched him with Ed and Double D. I don't know who Mike is.
Yeah, I was like,
Sure.
Is that Ed and Eddie? But then, you confirmed it.
I need my concentration, Eddie told her. Mm-hmm, Mike replied. Now, is Mike a girl? I don't understand. I'm going to say...
Mike is not an Ed and Eddie character, I can tell you that much, but I don't know who the Samson's house is either, so...
I'm just going to say Mike's a guy for now.
Okay.
I never thought I'd see the day of Eddie doing something besides scamming others, Mike commented as she watched him, Ed and Double D.
Gotcha, you sexist piece of shit!
Shh! I need my concentration, Eddie told her. Mm-hmm, Mike replied. Now, add a pinch of cinnamon, the woman on TV then said. Cinnamon! Cinnamon! Eddie muttered as he checked the cupboard.
That's
cinnamon,
like a fucking sociopath.
The top shelf to your right, Eddie, Double D told him. There it is. Mom must have moved it, Eddie said before taking the cinnamon and then put it in his recipe. Now, add a dash of salt and pepper and mix it all together, the woman on TV then said. Eddie did just that while he was in a deep focus. Is it ready? Is it ready? Ed asked. Not now, Ed, Eddie told him. Now put it in the oven for about 10 minutes, the woman on TV then said. Eddie soon finished up and put the food in the oven for right now and set the timer. I'm sure it's gonna be awesome, Eddie, Mike smiled. You always were a great cook, like when I'd come over on weekends after Cartoon Fridays, and you'd just make us something to eat.
Let's go.
Is Mike another not Rugrat, not Ed, and Eddie character?
I have a guess, but I don't know for sure. It's another crossover. I don't want to spoil it. I know. I should have my own cooking show, Eddie smiled back. Think about how much money I could make. Mike rolled her eyes to that. It would be interesting, Double D had to admit. Just think, Eddie smiled to the woman on TV. I could be like Ina Garden, the barefoot Contessa. My mom thinks Rachel Ray...
Oh, okay. That makes more sense.
I've literally never seen this character.
I've heard that. I've heard the name of the show. I think I remember vignettes for it.
She has a big fucking nose.
Mm-hmm. What is the show you're trying to show?
Mike, Lou, and Og.
Is it on Cartoon Network?
This is right there as seen on Cartoon Network.
Okay.
They covered up that girl's face.
Mike Lunog.
Mike, Lou, and Og. From Cartoon Friday.
My mom thinks Rachel Ray is better than Ina Garden, Ed commented. Well, she is pretty hot, Eddie whispered bashfully about Rachel Ray.
Damn.
God damn.
Eddie's down bad.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, lover boy, the timer went off, Mike told him. Oh, crap, it did, Eddie yelped as he then pulled his dish out of the oven.
They got Mike, Lou, and Og cereal.
Oh.
Yeah, let's go.
It's chocolate and coconut flavored crunchy cereal rings. What a interesting tie-in. I've never seen this in my life.
It looks familiar.
It said it ran from 1999 to 2002, so it's okay if you haven't seen it either, listener at home.
So Eddie pulled the dish out of the oven, and Ed says, It smells like when Dad tries to make dinner whenever Mom has a PTA meeting. Shut up, Ed, Ed muttered as he soon took out the pot and put it on the counter before opening the lid. Now pour the homemade sauce into the turkey, the woman on TV said. Eddie smiled and then poured the sauce into the turkey. Come on, Eddie, I can't wait anymore, Ed whined. All right, keep your pants on, Eddie told him. Now you can enjoy your turkey a la king, the woman on TV soon concluded. I sure will, miss. I sure will, Eddie smiled to the woman on TV.
This fucking cartoon Thanksgiving.
No. Can we eat now? Ed asked. Yes, you can, Eddie allowed. All right, Ed cheered and soon reached for the turkey before anyone else could get to it. Just a minute, big guy, Mike said as she pulled him back. Don't eat all of it. We want some too. Yes, Ed, don't be greedy, Double D agreed.
Double D finally appearing for the story.
Ed pouted. Eddie soon began to carve the turkey to let them each have some. Mike then took a bite and smiled. Hey, not bad. It's pretty good. Glad that you liked it, Eddie replied. Stupendous, Double D said. Double D said a bad word, Ed said. No, Ed, he said stupendous. That means really good, Mike told him. Oh, Ed then said before eating his food. It's better than Mom's.
Double D said a bad word.
What do you think? What do you think she said?
I just thought you called him stupid or something.
I'm just losing it. This story's nothing.
It's not any of the crossovers listed in the description.
You got fucking
Rugrats, no nothing.
They're just like having no conflict making a turkey.
Boy.
It's alright, the next paragraph starts with Rugrats.
Boy. Welcome to Mike, Lou, and Og, and Eddie, and Ed.
Ed, Eddie, Mike, Lou, and Og.
You can listen to... I'm not done yet. You guys really like it? Eddie smiled to his friends. Mike, Ed, and Double D all smiled and nodded. Well, thank you guys, Eddie said. Maybe someday you could open up your own Fuck, it said Eddie said it and then ends with Mike said it. Why? Maybe someday you could open up your own restaurant like Raven's dad in Disneyville. Mike smiled.
Disneyville?
Raven's dad?
I thought he was cooked for the president.
No, that's Corey's dad.
That's so Raven's dad too.
Really?
Yes.
They're related?
Yeah, Corey's the younger brother and That's So Raven, but then they leave to have their own spin-off show.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, me neither.
I never fucking watched Disney, okay?
I thought for a minute, I forgot this was Nickelodeon for a minute. I thought we were talking about fucking Raven from Teen Titans and the fucking demon dad had showed up or some shit.
Well, that's a problem too, because this is Cartoon Network.
At
We're
Nick
still not talking about Nickelodeon.
At Nicktropolis, Phil was making something for his friends and girlfriend.
What?
Oh.
I'm going to assume this is all grown up, Phil.
I'm just a forewarning. I don't know who any of these fucking characters are. I'm about to voice, so I don't have any context. What are you making, Philly? Courtney asked her boyfriend. It's a chowder recipe I saw on the Food Network last week, Phil said.
What the fuck is this story? Why are cartoon characters just following Food Network? What the fuck?
Phil's a big fan of binging with Babish.
As
He
long
looks
as you
kind of like him.
No, he doesn't! I challenge you, if you ever see fucking Babish, to tell him he looks like Phil from the Rugrats all grown up.
No, like baby Phil. They're bald.
I hope in his Halloween episode he does a cosplay.
He wears a fucking diaper.
Worst cosplay.
Fucking revolting.
You started it!
I meant his all grown up form.
Ew. They look fucking bad in that show.
Angelica's a biddy.
It's a chowder recipe I saw on the Food Network last week, Phil said as he looked hard at work. As long as you don't look crazy like the last time you cooed, Will muttered. Shh. Phil glared at her.
Cooed?
It's just missing a K.
Oh.
It's already started, Will smirked. Phil gave her a look while he was almost done. Almost done, guys. I'm more excited than when Winston gave me that warm milk last night, Courtney beamed.
Warm milk. Winston.
This better be good, DeVille, or I'm never talking to you again, Angelica threatened Phil.
Angela Anaconda.
Gee, that would be a loss,
I
Phil
forgot their
deadpanned.
names fucking rhyme.
Just
Phil
finish it,
DeVille.
Angelica told him. Okay, don't get your panties in a knot, Phil replied. Angelica muttered. Angelica, be patient. Good comes to those who wait.
Courtney fucking put her in her place.
Whatever, Angelica muttered. Phil soon stirred up the chowder and soon gave them all a bowl of some soup to try out for themselves. What kind of psycho makes clam chowder for Thanksgiving dinner or whatever this is?
This is just casual cooking
time. Yeah, okay.
They're all just learning how to cook while watching Food Network.
Well, it's about time. This better be good, Angelica groused before she soon picked out her spoon and ate the soup and her eyes widened slightly. Angelica? Kimmy called. Angelica? Kimmy called. How is it? Tommy added. This is the best soup ever tasted in my life, Angelica whispered.
It's not soup, it's a chowder.
The Rats gang and Courtney then tried some of the soup and they even liked it themselves.
The Rats gang?
Wait, is Courtney from fucking... Hold on.
It's probably an all grown up.
Rats gang. That didn't really give me a lot. Let me just look up Rats gang and see what comes up.
It's Rugrats. It's just the bad abbreviation.
Oh yeah, there's them.
Yeah,
Who the fuck's Courtney?
Courtney Sanford. She is the... Wait, no. Courtney's the fucking production manager of the Rugrats?
Courtney Sanford Death?
Oh no.
It's not that one, I've decided.
Oh no! Oh no! Is there a Miranda here?
Not yet.
Oh no!
They only list one crossover and it hasn't even happened yet.
There's only one Nickelodeon Courtney that would have anything to do with this.
Oh no! Who's that artist? Is that Klasky Supa?
That's Klasky, yep.
It's the
As told by Ginger.
As told by Ginger Courtney.
Mm.
I hate how she's drawn so much.
God.
Someone once told me the grass is much greener. Literally the only things I remember about that show were the theme song and then the scene where the rich kid comes out of the bathroom with toilet paper on his foot. That's it.
I thought it was okay.
That's all I remember, and I refuse to remember anymore.
Okay.
That's a.
You will not awaken the darkness within me.
All right.
What do you see in My Life Me that you don't see in As Told by Ginger?
Character.
Okay, well, I'm not going to make you watch that because I'd have to watch it too, so I agree.
My Life Me hits close to home, okay?
Fair enough.
Me and JC are like this.
It's true.
She's a nice lady. She draws a lot of dogs now. Go follow at JC Little on Twitter. Tell her your boy sent her. Sent you.
Tell your boy sent her. Tell her it's time for a reboot.
Maybe she'll come on the podcast.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I'd fucking love that.
That's
she seems
good.
really nice.
Mm-hmm.
She seems cool. We talked about roller skating the other day.
Oh, nice.
We're like this, if you didn't know.
That's awesome.
Maybe she'll fund your cartoon.
Maybe.
Make My Life Me too.
That'd be great to have her on.
Okay, we've got to get to the crossover.
Okay.
I feel like I'm in heaven, Tommy smiled. Wow, that's amazing, Chucky smiled. Oh, Philly, I knew you could do it. You are simply amazing, Courtney cooed to her boyfriend. Phil smiled and blushed to her. Can I have more? Dill asked. You're done already? Tommy asked him. Why do you think I wasn't talking? Dill joked.
Thought we were gonna get through this
Tommy
Dill
rolled his
free.
Here you go, Dill, Phil said as he gave the younger boy some more soup.
I fucking hate Dill.
Phil, my man, you're the best, Dill beamed.
He should have been crushed by the monkeys.
Wait, you don't like his fucking fish aquarium belt or his mayonnaise wallpaper that he invented?
The fish aquarium belt's pretty cool, I'll give him that.
True.
Everything else is a sham.
You don't like what his hair looks like when he takes off his hat?
No.
Fair enough.
You ever think you'll be a professional chef like Gordon Ramsay? Courtney asked Phil. Maybe someday, Phil shrugged. As long as you keep your anger in check, Wolf Boy, Lil suggested. That's supposed to be... I forgot who Lil was for a second. As long as you keep your anger in check, Wolf Boy, Lil suggested.
Keep your anger in check.
Oh yeah, and what about you, Wolf Girl? Phil replied. Hey, I'm not the one who goes crazy about cooking, Lil defended. Yeah, but you do any other time, especially if someone else looks like Mike funny, Phil muttered slightly. I do not, Lil glared. You were growling the other day when that Sailor Say When girl gave Mike a hug, Phil reminded. That was my stomach, Lil covered up.
Is this a different Mike? Is this an As Told by Ginger Mike?
Let me see.
Just keep reading, please.
Okay.
Yeah, keep going, bud.
Guys, please don't fight. It scares me, Courtney frowned to them. Stomach? Yeah, right, Phil scoffed to his sister. How about the last time when Draculara treated her wounds and you wanted to pounce on her and maul her? Why was she being her nurse? Lil glared about the vampire girl.
I fucking hope it ain't Michael Ricky from frickin' As Told by Ginger.
Let's see him. It hurts me.
That's the worst design in that fucking show.
Did you say Draculara, by the way?
Yes.
Isn't that fucking from Ghoul School?
Jackie Laura?
No, Draculara.
Draculara, yeah, I think so.
Great. Go on.
Every paragraph break is a
No,
new set.
Draculara's from... There's so many... That's from Monster High!
Oh, that's fine. She's hot.
She's cute. There's just a lot of properties going on here. My God.
We're either slipping into all OCs or all obscure characters at this point. It's like a 50-year-old man.
This is exactly
so
why I didn't want
scummy.
to talk about Dill.
It looks like
He
Stu.
looks so scummy with his hat off. Oh.
He looks scummy with his hat on.
It looks like
He's worthless.
It looks like a new goblin version of Stu.
Little Gobby Jr.
Oh God.
Are you done?
I'm gonna skip to the part I wanted to read. Every paragraph is a new crossover, and most of them are either OCs or obscure characters.
Are they all cooking?
Yes.
Why?
Oh my God.
Okay. Freddy! A man smiled as he came out and hugged the blonde teen. Uncle Bobby! Fred smiled back as he hugged the man. This is the gang. Gang, this is my uncle, Bobby Flay. Bobby Flay? Bobby Flay! Eddie beamed and then walked up to the man. I'm Eddie Sampson. I watch your show all the time. You even inspired me to become a cook myself.
Wait, we went back to Ed and Eddie. But
It's Ed, and Eddie, the Mystery Gang, and Bobby Flay.
Okay.
they did have the Gourmet Ghoul.
True.
We should watch that sometime.
Well, Eddie, it's
Yeah,
nice
yeah.
to meet you. Bobby smiled down to him. Shaggy and Scooby's looked jaw-dropped and even drooled. Fuck, it's more OCs. I don't want to read this anymore.
I rate that too much to comprehend.
I rate that way too much fucking expanded universe.
I rate that Michael's bottom jaw.
I rate that too much of the NCU.
I rate that a bland ratatouille made up exclusively of forgettable Cartoon Network characters.
What do you rate it after seeing this?
That's
Knock
better.
it off!
I like that dough better than the real one.
The real one?
Yeah.
Implying that's a fake Dill.
It
What
is.
about this one?
That's fine. I don't mind. The one you showed us was like a freaking washed out old man Dill. It was scary.
What about
What?
this one?
Send that one to the Discord.
Okay.
God. Yeah, no, that's like from a future flash forward or something.
Yeah, something like that. Whatever the hell it is, it's fucking nasty.
I assumed it was like a real like child one, but it's so good.
That's off. Okay, give me your phone.
Okay.
I need to send this baby home.
I need to delete that fan fiction. Report
Why
it.
are they all cooking? Was the title of that one anything to do to make it like a compilation or something?
It was supposed to be like Fred Jones from the Mystery Machine. It's supposed to be like Fred Jones versus the Rugrats on Bobby Flay's Beat Bobby Flay show. And I was like, that sounds great. I actually want to read that story.
But it just took so long to get there.
But it was
Yeah.
just a series of it was just characters cooking that I...
Okay, we got one more to send off us today. This one is a special one from Discord associate Avi, one of our good pals on there, has written us a special Rugrats story, so we're going to read it. And I did read your author's note, buddy. And here we go.
Thank you, Avi.
Chapter 1, Prologue. Stu Pickles has lost control of his life. He is living in a cheap studio apartment that's above a Mexican food restaurant where he gets dinner almost every day after work. He's living there because it's the only place he can afford after his divorce with Dee Dee costed him most of his savings, and that's the house that Stu and Dee Dee lived in and was under Dee Dee's name, so she had the right to kick him out.
Sounds like Stu's recounting this angrily.
Yeah.
This sounds like a follow-up to the snail story.
Stu is telling his girlfriend this on a date. And
His
is our
girlfriend,
house
who's
with
also
her
a
name?
character from another cryptic Nickelodeon show. What didn't help Stu's situation was the fact that his dad, Lou, had died and the inheritance had gone to his more mature brother, Drew.
No.
Also, Dee Dee had gained custody of Tommy, Dill, and Spike. What really almost pushed Stu to his limits was when he had to leave the prospect of being a toy inventor behind to actually look for a job. He did find a job, but it was for a sales associate position at a GameStop at a mall that was slowly dying. There were 2 GameStops at the mall, the popular one and the least popular one. Stu worked at the least popular one. The GameStop was located at the south end of the mall. The anchor store that was there had shut down a while ago, and the other smaller stores had either also shut down or closed temporarily until a new anchor store opened up. But the store owners knew deep down that there will never be another anchor store. So, the only stores left in operation in the south end was a tattoo shop, a barber shop, a foot massage parlor, a discount clothing store which sold bootleg fashion, and the GameStop where Stu worked in. And so, here was Stu, having lost his family, his house, and his hopes and dreams, pulling up in his car in the morning to work in a dead-end job at a dying mall, just trying to get money to pay his rent and child support payments.
It's painting a very vivid picture.
You really have to understand what he's going through.
I can imagine a mall just like that.
I can imagine Stu getting out of his car, looking at the building and sighing. But he did gain one thing, though, and that was the pot belly he'd got while eating so much Mexican food after work.
I thought we were going to say he did gain one thing, though. He could have a girlfriend again.
Chapter 2, A Long Day at GameStop.
Oh boy.
It was a Friday afternoon at the GameStop, and Stu Pickles was hiding underneath the counter working on a new toy while occasionally looking up every now and then.
Let's go. Never stop the grind. Never stop.
So it just looks like the place is empty.
Stu looks like he's doing drugs under the counter. He's bumping his head on it, trying to do something under there.
Stu put up the close sign so it can work in peace.
The doors are open, but they have the close sign in front of the doors.
He's working underneath the counter, working on a new toy, while occasionally looking up every now and then to see if any customers came by or if the banned one came back.
Oh no, is he gonna get pepper sprayed by Chris Chan?
Oh no!
The toy he had been working on was very different to the other toys he had made in the past. Since his children's toy market had been at an all-time low as of late, Stu had to resort to another toy market in a futile attempt to get back into the toy business.
Oh no.
His plan was to make the perfect sex toy that both men and women could use and for it to be more powerful enough so that the user can orgasm in less than a minute. He's doing this at work.
Building a realistic dildo at work.
He was working on his prototype when Stu heard footsteps coming into the store. Once he got up, he saw the people coming in. One looked like a short boy with blue hair, a red baseball cap worn backwards, and a white shirt with a no symbol on it.
Oh, it's the boyfriend.
Yeah.
The other was a female with brunette hair wearing a red dress and matching red stilettos. As the couple looked through the little game selection in the GameStop while not giving Stu any attention, it gave Stu the opportunity to continue to work on his prototype. And while he was working on it, Stu heard what sounded like a bunch of beeps and boops. He looked up to see where the noise was coming from. From what he can gather, it looked like the noises came from where the couple was standing. Strange, Stu thought with an eyebrow raised. Then he went back down to work on his toy. After a bit, he heard the bell ring that Stu put on the counter when a customer was ready to pay. When Stu got up, he saw what looked like a copy of Ghostbusters, the video game remastered for PS4.
Whoa.
Stu looked at the game box, then at the customers, then back at the game box. Then he booted up the register system. After a few startup sounds from a decade-old computer, it was ready to make its first transaction of the day, since most of the people who come into the GameStop mostly browse through the games instead of actually buying anything. After checking out the game, Stu grabbed the disc from the shelves where he kept the game disc in. Once he grabbed the disc, he let out a long sigh and said, "Would you like to sign up for a Power Up Rewards membership today?" Stu said in a flat, emotionless manner. Stu always had to say this each time a customer was going to make a purchase. Not because he was forced to, but he'd get an extra 50 cents in his paycheck every time he says it. The woman shook her head saying, "No thanks," as she pulled out a $20 bill from her purse. Stu continued. He needed those extra 50 cents.
Stu stared longingly at that $20 bill.
With your membership, you will get a subscription to Game Informer magazine, as well as extra store credit for each trade-in. And to top it all off, you'd get points for each dollar spent in the store. Stu blabbered on and on about the benefits of an unnecessary rewards program. The little blue-haired dude started to get impatient since the more time this sales associate is wasting will be cutting into his game playing time. With that, he thought it was time for a rap battle, so he got a couple of microphones out of his pocket.
Yo.
One for him and one for Stu.
Big cargo shorts.
Let's go.
He threw it at Stu with all of his might and it hit him in the right eye. Once the microphone impacted in Stu's eye, he let out a scream as he fell down onto the floor and knocked out. And the result with the little dude's accidental assault left Stu with a black eye. Thankfully, there were no witnesses to the crime, so the woman threw the money on Stu and grabbed the little guy in the game along with the case and got the hell out of Dodge at a GameStop. Chapter 3, Trade in Trouble.
I forgot Stu was Jewish, that's right.
I'm adding, well, he actually isn't. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Dee Dee's family is.
yeah.
He doesn't look happy to be there.
I'm adding visual aid to Effie's story. I'm looking at pictures that I think represent his mood.
You're right on the money. Chapter 3, Trade in Trouble. After a few minutes had passed, Stu had regained consciousness. Once he got back up to get his bearings, Stu noticed something outside the store. It was hiding behind the mall directory just outside the GameStop. It looked like a person wearing a trench coat while also wearing a Groucho Marx mask. Based on the pudgy look of the figure, it looked like it could be the banned one. Stu was about to get his lead pipe out just in case the banned one
His manager
came
says
back.
use the lead pipe.
We have a no tolerance policy for banned ones. But before he can do that, 3 more people came into the store. One was tall with a green jacket, one was short with a yellow shirt, and the other one had what looked like a sock on his head. The trio made their way under the counter, placing what looks to be a DVD case on the counter. The short one began to speak. "Hello, sir. We would like to trade in a game today." The short one said in a smug tone. After a bit of awkward silence, Stu said, "Do you want cash or store credit?" Stu hoped to God they wouldn't ask for cash since there was almost no money in the register. And that he would have to give the customers money out of his own pocket. Stu was
Gotta cover the till.
Stu was already in the red this month and he didn't want to sink in any further. "We'll take cash, please," the short one said in the same smug tone. "You can put that away. I see Stu making pudding."
We can visualize.
Okay.
Stu died a bit inside. He knew that he would have to give these people his money. Stu could refuse them, but then he'd be too emotionally weak to even attempt such a thing. He swallowed his pride to see what the game was, and as Stu looked at the case and saw what the cover was a fake, it looked like it was printed out of household printer, and there was a no color, only black and white. In fact, the only resolution of the image looked so bad that it was made the visible compressed pixels look textured. Stu wasn't impressed at the case, but sometimes customers bring in games with shitty looking game covers, but they still had the game in there to trade in at least. As Stu opened up the case to check out the disc, he saw that he might have some hope after all to keep his money. The game disc that Stu saw was actually a DVD-R bootleg of Tony Hawk's Ride, the triple, for the title written badly with the Sharpie with the text, "For the PS triple," underneath the name.
For the PS triple.
Stu gleefully thought, "These fucking kids think that they can come into my store and scam me out of my money and get away with it."
Finally, he has the emotional strength to repent.
Stu thought carefully of what he was gonna say next. "I'm sorry, sir," Stu said loudly, using the same smug inflection that the short 3-haired guy said.
He feels so big now.
"But we can't take this game in right now since we don't sell games with shitty peripheral gimmicks, especially ones with shitty mechanics."
Stu spoke his truth as he got louder and louder, practically to the point of screaming. Maybe you can go to the mom and pop game store up in the north end of the mall. Oh wait, they got closed down to make room for a fucking ass seat on TV product store. Stu howled at the trio in a flurry of frustration and anger and extreme satisfaction of finally tearing into a bad customer after so long. As Stu was giving the boys a piece of his fucking mind, the person in the trench coat had snuck in the store. He hid behind a brand new Halo Infinite cardboard display. It was the most recent cardboard display they got ever since they received a display for Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric back in 2014, which was still at the store in the Wii U section for no good reason at all. It was shaped like Master Chief holding a rifle. It couldn't hide the criminal who was trying to sneak into the store since the frame was rounder. Luckily, the criminal didn't have to put much effort into sneaking, because all he did was picking up the display and moving it bit by bit, trying to get closer to the Wii U section while hiding behind it. Stu was too busy to notice the figure getting closer to the Wii U section. As Stu let out the gates of hell on the three kids, the one with the sock head grabbed the case and took out the DVD-R to reveal the actual game underneath it. It was a real copy of Tony Hawk's Shred for the PS3, and as Stu continued on his tirade, he looked down to see now that the actual game on the case. With the realization that he had to legally give these people his money, Stu had lost the smug look while in turn into one of dread. Stu turned on the computer to see how much of it cost for a trade-in. After looking at the database, the result was that the game was just 25 cents to trade in. After a bit of hesitation, Stu pulled out his wallet and got a quarter. He flicked it at the boys and just told them to get out. Stu looked like he was about on the verge of tears. As the trio left the GameStop, Stu tried to gather up all of his willpower to prevent him from sobbing uncontrollably, but then he noticed the figure hiding behind the cardboard display, reaching out for the Sonic display with a permanent marker in the Wii U section.
Oh no!
Chapter 4, Don't Call Anybody.
Oh no!
Stu looked up on in horror as the trench-coated criminal attempted to vandalize at the Sonic display. After everything Stu went through today, he decided that he had had enough today. He'd put matters into his own hand and attempted to grab the lead pipe, but instead grabbing his prototype sex toy. He then jumped the counter and began charging at the man. With rage in his eyes and fury in his heart, Stu prepared to strike the man down with all of his might. Before he managed to get on him, Stu got met with a bitch slap. Stu fell back on the floor again, now with a red slap mark on his left cheek.
Stu is so weak.
He's malnourished.
He's got Mexican food. He's strong.
That doesn't make him properly fed. Let's see. Stu looked up to see who could have brought the toy warrior down. The man started to undress his trench coat and Groucho Marx, and he soon revealed it was an obese man with a red mustache, drooping pink nose, and a red, black, and yellow jumpsuit.
Oh no!
It was Dr. Ivo Robotnik.
Oh no!
You're not Chris Chan, Stu weakly told the person who he thought was the banned one. Robotnik stared at Stu for a second and said, "This is what dying feels like." This is what dying feels like. Then he jumped a few inches and landed on Stu, crushing him under his weight and possibly breaking Stu's ribs. Then Robotnik got back up, pulled out the marker, and vandalized the display. Robotnik had drew a mustache on Sonic's face and leaving a message that says, "Lol, Sonic sucks," on his forehead. And then looking around for any witnesses, Robotnik scurried off away from the GameStop, leaving his victim on the floor. And so here was Stu, having been being emotionally and physically defeated, and also possibly having internal bleeding, laid there on the floor. He would have cried, but he was too tired to do so. He felt it was best to just lay there on the floor until his shift ends, and just walk back to his apartment, climb onto his bed, and succumb to his injuries, to try to at least get a good night rest. But just then the banned one came in wearing a Groucho Marx mask as he started to loot the GameStop.
Oh no!
Just as left the store with his bag of loot and looked back at Stu
Big
and said,
knapsack.
"Don't call anybody," as he left the store, leaving Stu on the floor. The end.
Can't believe Stu failed to repel the enemy with his weapon.
With his prototype sex toy.
I give that 1 full power Pingus Slam out of 10.
Was that One Piece character in Miss Wednesday that can control her weight with the umbrella?
Valentine.
No. That is Miss Valentine's Day.
Okay.
Miss Valentine's Day?
Mm-hmm.
Robotnik did Miss Valentine's Day and lightly jumped into the air and then crushed him with 1,000 tons.
This is what it feels like to die. God. I rate that story 3 lonesome kids out of 3.
I rate that a small to-go container of beans and rice eaten on top of a GameStop customer counter
That was incredible.
every lunch.
Thank you for that story, Avi. Happy birthday, Avi. This episode comes out on your birthday, according to you, so we're trusting you on that.
Happy birthday. Thank you for writing the story.
Happy birthday, buddy. It was a blast.
And thank you, everybody else, for listening into the show. Next time on Crossing the Line...
4th of July.
Oh!
That's our firework sounds. Do we have a good place to do that? A celebration?
Here.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a yard yet, but I will soon, I hope.
It's alright, we can do sparklers on the porch.
Yeah. Just the sparks flying down, hitting the neighbors below.
Yeah.
That'll be good.
So yeah, look forward to that one, our 4th of July holiday special where we write our own fanfics. We always have a blast with our holiday special, so we really hope you check that one out when it comes out in 2 weeks.
Those are always the funniest ones we ever write. They're so good.
It's just nothing but American badass humor.
Hell yeah.
We've got a few other 4th of July ones, as well as a few other holiday specials, which there's a whole holiday special playlist on our YouTube channel if you want to check out those episodes in particular.
Perfect.
And those have always been doing historically well, so I'm glad you guys have been able to check those out. They're always really interesting.
So yeah, check us out on Twitter, join the Discord, we're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on all sorts of other listening platforms. So share us with your friends and let's keep this show rolling, everybody.
Ooh, yeah.
I don't know how to end this episode.
Go watch the new Rugrats and leave your review on IMDb. Goodbye.
Sign up for a Paramount Plus subscription to watch Rugrats.
Oh, no.
No,
It's free on the line. Just look it up.